أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله وعلى أهل بيتك المظلومين صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة ويا عبرة كل مؤمن ومؤمنة يا غريب يا شهيد كربلاء فيا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الشريف وقوله حق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كم من فئة قليلة غلبت فئة كثيرة بإذن الله والله مع الصابرين. Illuminate your hearts and minds with devout salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Imagine yourself in front of 30,000 ruthless wolves, ruthless soldiers, bloodthirsty soldiers that they want to attack you. Each second they want to attack you. What do? What's the mental thing that you do? What comes to mind? Let's grab some armor. Let's attack them with swords. Let's bring strong man to the battlefield. But what did Imam Hossein alayhi salam do? He brought his 6-month-old child to the battlefield in front of 30,000 people. Why did Imam Hussein do that? To our mind, it's incorrect. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, an infallible, the Imam shouldn't do that. That's his own kid, 6 months. He knows that they won't answer him. So why was the cause? What was the cause? What's the reason that Imam Hussein alayhi salam brought his kid to the battlefield in front of these 30,000 people? Today, we are so connected with a materialistic world that we see the world in this way. If somebody has a lot of money, has good wealth, or has the highest technology, is the strongest, that's the person that is going to be victorious. That's the person that is going to win. The opposite side, if somebody doesn't have any money, is weak, they will be the loser. They will lose this battle. And that's what comes up to mind, right? When we see it, normally that's going to happen. Whoever's stronger, has more technology, has more power, they will win. Usually that's going to happen. On the other side, that person that doesn't have any armor, doesn't have any technology, doesn't have any knowledge, that person will lose. That's the normal, each daily lifestyle that we have. That's the thought that comes to our mind. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has showed us the difference. Showed in a different way. He says, my path is different. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells, my path is different. You think it's like this, but it's exactly the opposite. We have numerous of examples in the Quran, in the history, that with small little soldiers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala defeated the biggest of the enemies, the strongest of the enemies, has defeated them. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam escaped from the terrorists in Mecca, he escaped them and he went to a cave of Thur, and they were after him, and they brought people that can find a person's path. Like right now, how are the dogs They can smell the path. They can smell what they want. They had persons in that time, they knew the path of that place. And they could have found it. It was like navigation, their campus. They brought 10 of those people to find the Prophet. Wherever he goes, they could have found him. And the Prophet enters the cave of Thur. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't protect the Prophet with a big metal wall. No. What does he do? He commands a spider to make a web. And what is the house of the spider? Inna ahwan al-buyut labayt al-ankabut. The most fragile house, it's gone. The most fragile house is the house of a spider. With just one wave, one move, it will go. And this spider had to create his house in front of this god, in front of this cave. And they didn't even expect this. Those that were the people, they went to the door of this cave. They saw that all the footsteps of the Prophet is until this cave. But this cave, nobody has entered it. Why? Because this spider net is in front of it. And if somebody wanted to enter, it has to be broken. This house would have been broken. So they didn't expect that the Prophet entered this house. With what? With just one spider web. Not a metal barrier in front of them. No. With the ahwan al-bayt. With the most fragile house, he protected the Prophet. And these days, if I wanted to protect my family, I would have put them down stores, put some metal barriers. And that's how I protect my family. In the last room that I have, the most protected room, that's how I'm gonna protect my family. But the Prophet, the most important person on this world, was protected just by the spider's house. Allah is showing us that my plan is different. This is how I do it. This is how I do it. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Nimrud, he was a tyrant. He was a dictator. And he thought that I am God. What would he do? He would imprison somebody, a person. And then that person, two people. One of them, he would say, you are free. The other one, he would put a death sentence on him. And then what would he say? He says, Ana uhyi wa umit. I will make him alive. The person that I'm freeing, he has a new life, right? He is free. The one that I put a death sentence, he dies. So I am the person that I create. I uhyi, I bring him to alive. And I umit, I make him dead. So I am God. That was his mentality. That was how he thought, that I am God. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to fight him, did he send 100,000 people? Did he send an earthquake, a tornado, a bala, a punishment from the skies? No. What did he do to him? One mosquito. Just one mosquito. Look how small this is. A mosquito entered his nose, and from his nose into his brain. And this mosquito was just going around his brain, that he told his servants that hit me with wood and metal until this mosquito would just be quiet for just 1 minute. That's how dizzy he would get, until they smacked him so much that he died. Just one mosquito, not an enormous enemy, not the punishment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hellfire. No, just one mosquito could destroy this person that had this takabbur. Thought he was God. With one mosquito, he fell to the down. That's the army of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dawood and Jalut, all of these are in the Quran. Dawood and Jalut. Jalut was this tyrant, was this great, strong soldier, commander, that they were attacking the faithful people. And against them, nobody would have stand in front of Jalut. He was like a giant. And from head to toe, full of armor, metal armor. Nobody had the guts to go against him. Nobody. Suddenly they see this kid. They say between 11 and 17, this age, enters the battlefield with just one leather slack and some stones, pebbles. Jalut, when he saw this, he made fun of him. You're gonna fight me with this? I'll look at my sword. The length of it is about your size. And you want to attack me? How are you gonna do it? Dawood didn't say anything. He just threw that stone with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it went through that armor and hit that Jalut in the forehead, and he died. That's it. Jalut fell to the ground. This Jalut that nobody, the strongest people, couldn't stand against him, with just one stone, one person, one kid, destroyed him. This is the army of Allah. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stands against this. Hudhud, in the time of Sulaiman, with all those jinns, with all those malaika, with all those animals in his command, he did not know a place, a city. Hudhud, this little bird, comes to the Prophet and tells him that I know something that you don't know. And the Prophet tells him, if you're sure, if you are lying, I'm going to punish you. You're lying. It's not possible that this world, I have everybody in my command. You are lying. If you lie, I punish you. He says, no, this bird, this hudhud, this little bird tells him, no, I'm going to bring this city to you. The city of Saba, Sheba. And he goes find him, and they become, they believe in Allah because of this hudhud. This little soldier of Allah, one little bird. Another soldiers that we have, who are they? In the time that they will attack the Mecca, they wanted to attack Kaaba. The army went, we have the surah, Surah Al-Fil. The army went and attacked Kaaba with elephants, the most strongest animals in that time, with full armor, with fire. They wanted to attack the Kaaba, and nobody could have stand in front of them. The people of Mecca, they couldn't stand in front of them. They didn't have this many troop men. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with Ababil, they are small birds, and Sijil, small stones in their mouth. They went, and by the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they lit the stones on the heads of these elephants, on the heads of these enemies. And this entire army in just few seconds was gone. Nobody could have believed this. And there's a surah for this miracle. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Prophet Moses, the Pharaoh of that time, he had those that would predict the future. Magicians that would predict the future. And one day they come to the Prophet, to the Pharaoh, and tell him that a boy will raise in your city, and he will go against you, and he will destroy your empire. Your whole empire will be destroyed by this little boy in your city. So what does he do? He starts to slaughter women and children. Starts to slaughter. Enters each house. If there's a little boy, if a woman is pregnant, he will just, without a word, slaughter. But in that same time, one little kid is raised in the house of Pharaoh, in the castle of Pharaoh, and that same boy goes against him. If God wants something, He will do it in this way, that you yourself, you that don't want to do it, you that are against it, you yourself will become your own thing that destroys yourself. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He puts Prophet Moses in the house of the Pharaoh. And it is raised under the nose of the Pharaoh. In front of his face, he is raising a child that will go against him. This is Prophet Moses. The battlefield of Badr. How much were they? 313 in the time of Prophet. Against them was all of Quraysh with highly armored and weapons against them. And 313 against 10,000. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells them to be patient and I will help you. He sends the malaika. First of all, second of all, the night before, rain comes down and under the ground of these Badriyun, the soldiers of Badr, the soldiers of the Prophet, is hard. Underneath their feet is mud. So they can't attack anymore. And the Prophet wins them. Wins the battle. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He wants something to happen, it happens. When He wants something to happen, it happens. But these battles, all of them almost were just fights. Worldly fights. Against Ababil, it was against an army. Dawood was against Jalut. This Badr was against those Quraysh. It was just worldly fights. These fights are important. But there's something higher in value that is more important. And if that is not destroyed, if that is not beaten, the person that maybe in the face of this world is the winner, inside is the loser. And what is that? It's the faith. If the faith is still alive, even if you murder everybody that believes in that, if the faith is still alive, the person has lost. The person that has murdered all of that believer of that faith is the loser. Still he has lost. Still he has lost. The faith is more important than the blood. If he kills you, your blood, and you don't go against your faith, you stand with your faith. If you die in this path and don't go back, your blood wins that sword. That's the rule that we have in this world. Faith wins blood. Faith wins the swords that attack us. The faith is the most important. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. When Prophet Moses alayhi salam, he was sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the pharaohs. It's a famous story, all in the Quran. We can find it in Surah Al-Kahf, in Surah Al-Anbiya. This story is there. Prophet Moses was sent there. And he debates, challenges the Pharaoh that you are not God and I am sent by God. I am the Prophet of Allah. You are not God. You think you are God, you are not. So what does the Pharaoh say? He says, okay, if you think you are the God, do miracles. Do miracles. Let's have this challenge, this debate. You bring your miracle, I'll bring my miracles. And Prophet Musa, he accepts this. Says, okay, I'll do it. So what happens? He brings magicians. The Pharaoh brings magicians. And only Prophet Moses, Prophet Musa is against them. They have their staffs and they throw it to the ground. And with the magician, how they can do it with magic, they bring the staff almost like alive. It's almost alive like snakes. They do this, but it's not literally a snake. What does Prophet Musa do? He grabs his staff and he does the same thing and it literally becomes a snake. The magicians know magic. Each professional person in their professional subject, they know more than others. The magicians know that this is not magic. This is a miracle. So they feel this divine power by God. And they start to do sujood to Musa. That you are the Pharaoh, you are the prophet by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Pharaoh seems like he is getting humiliated by these people. And everything is getting against him. He is losing right now because the magicians were with him. And he bought them to be with him. And when the magicians go against him, it means that you are not right. The magicians were the top and they were the professionals. If they say you are not correct and the other side is correct, that haqq is with him. He told them that if you don't do this, I will cut. If you don't go back to these magicians, if you don't go back, I will cut your hands and your feet, and I'm going to put you on the trees, hang you up on the trees. لَأُقَطَّعَنَّ رَجُلُكُمْ وَأَيْدِيكُمْ وَلَأُصَلِّبَنَّكُمْ. In some narrations, it says that I'm going to hang you on the tree by the back and pull you until you get cut off. These magicians. So this is the punishment of Pharaoh. If you don't go back, I'm going to do this. What do the magicians answer? Okay, it's okay, punishment. We don't believe in Moses. If it's punishment, we don't. No, they didn't say this. They say, do whatever you want. We believe in Moses. The faith here stood against blood. Faith that they had, they believed in Allah. Nothing can stand in front of it. Pharaoh, the toppest person in that time, the strongest in that time, most powerful in that time, is punishing you, is threatening you, and you are not scared. That's the faith against swords. Maytham al-Tammar in the time of Muawiyah. Maytham al-Tammar, he was a very good companion in the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Amir al-Mu'mineen tells him that Maytham, this tree you see here, you will die beside this tree. And this tree was little. It wasn't still a great tree. Each day, Maytham al-Tammar would come to this tree, pray 2 rak'ahs with prayers, and then give it water and talk to this tree. That this tree, I'm your friend, I'm your companion, I will be with you until the end. And the people in that time told Maytham that you are crazy. This tree, well, what are you telling? This tree is your friend. You're going to die here. How do you know? And he told them that Amir al-Mu'mineen has told me that I'm going to die here. And in this way I am going to die. In which way? That they will cut my tongue. And they will cut my hands and feet. And then hang me on this tree. They have told me, Amir al-Mu'mineen has told me this will happen to me. Imam Ali. Several of years passed away, nothing happened. In the time of Muawiyah, in the time of Yazid, Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad was the person that was the commander of Kufa. He sees Maytham and sees Maytham that he is telling the truth about Amir al-Mu'mineen. He's talking about Imam Ali and tells him, if you're not quiet, I'm going to kill you. And still he talks about Amir al-Mu'mineen. He's spreading the reality that these Muawiyahs, these Yazid, this Ubaydullah, these are not right. They are not in the path of God. Who was? Imam Ali was. Imam Hassan was. Imam Hossein was. And he was talking about virtues of Imam Ali, that he's the brother. He's Ainullah, Wajhullah, Asadullah. He was telling all those virtues. What does Ubaydullah tell him? He tells him that I'm going to kill you. And he tells him that whatever you want to do, do what you want. He brings him to that same tree. He brings Maytham to that same tree. And Maytham tells him that Amir al-Mu'mineen has told me that I'm going to die next to this tree. I'm going to be hanged up to this tree. And my hands and feet are going to be cut off, and my tongue is going to be cut off. Ubaydullah, because of that hate that he had toward Amir al-Mu'mineen, what did he do? He said, okay, I'm going to cut your hand and feet, but I'm not going to cut your tongue. Why? Because I want to disobey. I want to Amir al-Mu'mineen to be wrong. He talked about the future. I want to prove him wrong. So he cuts the feet and hand of Maytham and hangs them on the tree. Maytham sees the opportunity. Even in that position, he starts to talk about Amir al-Mu'mineen. He sees that tree as a mimbar. He's higher, he was hanged up. He's higher in that position and starts to shout out about Amir al-Mu'mineen. Ubaydullah down there, be quiet, unless I'm going to kill you. Be quiet, don't talk. He still is talking. He still is talking, Maytham. And what does he do? Until he becomes quiet, he cuts his tongue. And that Maytham dies in that position. And Amir al-Mu'mineen was right. Maytham was killed in this way, still in that position above the tree. He didn't stop. This faith, okay, he removed, Ubaydullah removed. Who removed Maytham from that timeline? He removed him. He tried to erase him, but he didn't solve the problem. The problem was that he was talking about Amir al-Mu'mineen, his faith in Amir al-Mu'mineen. But he didn't remove that faith. The problem was the faith, not that, okay, you're just a person. No, the faith was the problem. Still, the faith of Maytham was there, even after that. So he lost. Even though he killed, he lost. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Hujr ibn Adi or Uday. This person was in the battle of Siffin, the battle of Jamal. He was the companion of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Each battle he was there and he saw all the fights of Amir al-Mu'mineen. He was with him, one of the greatest commanders. Again, Muawiyah sees that this person is with Amir al-Mu'mineen and he's a great commander. So how do I stop him? I kill him. I kill him or tell him to curse Amir al-Mu'mineen. One of these two. If you curse to Amir al-Mu'mineen, you can stay. But if you don't, you're going to be killed. And to show them that I am committed to this and you are going to die, what did he do? He made the graves near them, put the kafan, and tell them that these are your graves. These are your graves. This person, Hujr ibn Uday, he told them that whatever you want to do, I'm not going back. I'm not cursing Amir al-Mu'mineen. I'm not going to do that. And so what happens? They killed them, Hujr ibn Uday. But they still lost. The first shaheeds in Islam, who were they? Yasir and his wife. These were the first shaheeds in Islam. They told the munafiqeen, the kafirs of Quraysh, told these two that if you say that there is no Allah, there is no Prophet, we're not going to kill you. And in which way they killed them? They put a stone on their chests until they suffocate. That was their belief. And they didn't go back. They would say, no, I'm not going back from my faith. Again, they removed this person from that timeline, but they didn't fix the problem. Their problem was Amir al-Mu'mineen, was the Prophet. They didn't fix it. They just removed that. They didn't solve the problem. Just erasing it by just one time, 10 years, it's not going to fix it. Still, the faith is there. And when the faith is there, when you can't change the faith, it's not important how many you kill. From the first day of Amir al-Mu'mineen, from the first day of the Prophet, this murder, this slaughtering was there until today. And it's going to be there until the day that our Imam appears. It's going to be there. Why? Because they are afraid of our faith. Why? Because nobody can stand against your faith. Even if they get bloods, this faith will still be there. After 14 centuries, they killed Imam Hossein on the day of Ashura. In that way, today millions go to Arba'in. Who would have thought about that? Millions go to Arba'in. That's the faith. That's the belief system. In the day of Ashura, if you would have told the historians, the enemy, that who won, they would say the enemy, the army of Yazid. They demolished Imam Hussein. Just if you were look at the worldly type. But right now, who has won? Yazid or Imam Hussein? Still today. And it's going to go and go. Why? Because the faith is there. The faith is still there. In the time of another pharaoh, there was this mashata. There was this person that would help the daughter of Pharaoh. And the comb from her hand falls to the ground. And when she wants to grab it, she says, Bismillah. The daughter of the Pharaoh tells this mashata that, by Allah, who do you mean? You mean my father, right? She says, no, I mean the one God that we have. Allah, the creator of us. I don't mean Pharaoh. The daughter of Pharaoh goes to Pharaoh and tells him that this doesn't believe in you. So they bring this lady, and she had 6 or 7 kids. They brought a big pot of hot oil, hot water in front of this lady and told them, if you don't stop believing in God, one by one, we will throw your kid in front of you and they will die. If you don't believe. She said, whatever you want to do. The first kid, the second, the third, the fourth, until the last little infant. And this little infant, in that time, she felt the pain. That this kid doesn't have any dhanb, doesn't have any sin. What about this kid? She was about to lose her faith there. When she looks at the kid, by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this kid starts to talk to her and tells her that isbiri. Wait, have patience, you will reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And she gets her faith back, and also that little kid is thrown in front of her in that pot. And after that, herself was thrown on that. Did Pharaoh win there? Or did the woman win? That woman won in that way. Yes, she was killed. Yes, she was murdered in that way. All of her generation was murdered. But who won? That woman. That woman won. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. In today's society, when we see that everybody is against us, whoever we see is against this Shia belief. In our schools, they are against our hijab. In our schools, they are against our beliefs, in what we believe in what faith we have. This is a war against our faith. So let's teach our youth, our kid, to stand with this faith. It is hard for them. So be their backup. They go to school, they go to society, they are made fun of them. Yes, it's not the fight of swords, it's not the fight of blood, but it has changed. The battlefield has changed. They mock our kids. They make fun of them. If we don't teach them how to be strong, if we don't be their backups, they will lose this battle. Yes, faith will win. But the faith is the most important. You have to keep the faith. If that kid becomes an unbeliever, if that kid becomes that, you have lost. Even if that kid is still with you, respects you, but if it doesn't believe, he doesn't believe, she doesn't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have lost that. You have lost the war. That kid has lost that war. If they don't put the hijab anymore, you have lost it. Yes, maybe they are still with you, but you have lost their faith and they have won this battle. They have won this battle. So from the first day, be strong with it. Tell them to wear their hijab correctly. Tell them to pray their salats correctly. Not that one day you do that, one day you don't. From the first day that you want to start with the exact and precise directions, with love, tell them to put their hijab, tell them to pray, tell them to fast, to give charity, bring them in this community. Raise them with the beliefs of Allah until in that day when they face society that everybody is against them, they don't lose it with one shubha, with one attack. They don't lose it. They can be strong like this mashita. They can be strong like Mitham al-Tammar. This is our responsibility to our friends, to our children, to our spouses. This is what we have to do. Unfortunately, we see this, that the father is faithful, the mother is not. The children goes and becomes unfaithful. Or the opposite. So why didn't the father keep the faith of the mother? Or the opposite? That's your responsibility. More than food, more than shelter, more than clothes, more than money, you have to keep their faith. You have to strengthen them. You come to the majalis but don't bring your wife. That's not correct. You don't bring your children. That's not correct. Send them, but you don't yourself don't come. That's better because your faith is strong. You know that. You have to strengthen them. You come here to become more faithful, learn more, but you keep your kids in the house. That's not correct. That's not how Ahlul Bayt and our generations before us have taught us. Our parents, they would send us into the Hosseinias, into the masajid, and they would tell us that go whatever you want to do. Just go in the majalis. They themselves would work. They didn't have any time for the majalis, but would tell us that go wherever you want to the majalis. They would provide us the opportunity to go to the majalis, even though themselves couldn't attend. And they would have loved this, but because of work, because they wanted to bring money to the house, whatever they had to do, they would have sent us. Not that, okay, I don't go, you can't go too. The responsibilities are different. Yes, each time is different how you have to do, what you have to act upon. But this is the fight right now. They are against our faith. It's not blood against faith, but it's faith against faith. Their faith is against our faith. Their belief system is against our belief system. And they attack it in a different way. Not with swords, but with like social media, with schools, with their education system. With all of these, they are attacking. And it's harder to go against them. Yes, blood is some way. In that time, it was hard. But you die one time. You don't lose your faith. But right now, they lose their faith. They are alive. But when they lose their faith, they are like dead. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. In Karbala, the reason that Imam Hossein alayhi salam brought Ali al-Asghar was this. Every person in that time had a responsibility. Abu al-Fadl Abbas, Bibi Zainab, Salamullah alayhim. Each one of them had a responsibility. Abu al-Fadl Abbas fought against them with swords, but didn't change their faith. Didn't change it. Hur fought them. Ali al-Akbar fought them. Imam Hussein fought them. They went to battle with them. But what Ali Asghar did was different. Abu al-Fadl Abbas, they said 4,000 people. He was in charge of 4,000 people. And they were distracted by Abu al-Fadl Abbas. 4,000, that's a lot. By Qasim, 300. By Ali al-Akbar, 400 until 1,000. They did say this much. But one little soldier, he changes the faith of 30,000 people. This little soldier that they are. When Abu al-Fadl Abbas attacked, nobody cared. They were against Abu al-Fadl Abbas. They said he was a strong man. Their hearts weren't broken. Their hearts, their beliefs weren't changed. When Imam Hussein fought, the same. When Qasim fought, the same. Nobody changed. But when Imam Hussein brought Ali al-Asqar, it changed the battlefield. Something different happened. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. When Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he was in the center of the battlefield, and he was all alone by himself. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he saw to his left, he saw to his right, nobody was there. So he shouts out, Hal min nasirin yansuruni? Is there anybody to help me? There's nobody. Hal min dhabbin yadhubbu an haram Allah? Is there any protector to protect the haram of Rasulullah? Suddenly he hears the cry of the woman in the tent. He goes back to see what is happening there. He tells his sister, Ya Zainab, what has happened there? They say, Bibi Zainab tells Imam Hussein, Ya Hussein, when you shout out Hal min Nasirin, your little kid, your 6-month-old kid, Ali al-Asqar started crying. Whatever we do, he can't stop. So the women cried with his crying. And Imam Hussein sees him and tells her to bring this kid to me. I want to do my wada. I want to say goodbye to him. When he sees this kid, he sees the lips of this kid. And the historian says that he was yataladha atasha. This little kid, Ali al-Asqar, he was that thirsty that if you give him water, he will die too. So water doesn't affect him. But because of the heart of his mother, Rubab, Imam Hussein told him, let me take this little kid to the battlefield. Maybe they could give this little kid water until his mother could be happy. So Imam Hussein brings this little kid to the battlefield. He grabs him up on the sky. He tells the people, the enemy, that in lam tarhamni farhamu hadha at-tifl. If you don't have any mercy upon me, have mercy upon this little kid. This little kid doesn't have any sin. This little kid doesn't want to fight with you. At that time, Shem sees that the enemy, this army, is getting destroyed, getting disrupted. He tells Harmala, what are you doing here? Don't you see my army is going against me? Harmala tells him, what should I do? Oh Shem, what should I do? He tells him that, don't you see that little kid? Don't you see his neck? He says, yes, I see that. He says that, what are you standing there for? Grab your arrow against him. Harmala says it's himself. He says that I grab my arrow. I grab the arrow that I fight with the enemies, the strong enemies with. I grab that. I saw the whiteness of the neck of Ali al-Asqar. I drew back the arrow. I shot it to him. At that moment, they say Imam Hussein, he was talking. Suddenly he sees Ali al-Asqar. He is moving. Ali al-Asqar couldn't move. He sees his moving. He was shocked. He brings Ali al-Asqar down. He sees them that he's he sees that Ali al-Asqar, he is slaughtered by ear to ear. His little kid. At that moment, he grabs the blood of Ali al-Asqar. He throws it to the sky. He says, Ya Allah, if you weren't seeing me, this would be hard for my heart. He wants to go back to the tents, but he can't. How can he go back to the tents? And the mother is there. Rubab is waiting for the kid. She is hoping that Ali al-Asqar is thirsty, has been gone. He is waiting, she is waiting for her, but the kids see Imam Hossein alayhi salam. He is not coming. What does he do? He grabs his abba, he puts it on the kid so the mother can't see him. Bacha, dast baba khuni shode, gamunam 6 ماه قربونی شده. عباشو به روی اصغر کشید، گمونم خیلی خجالت کشید. He is ashamed of the mother. So what does he do? He brings the little kid behind the tents. The only soldier that was buried on that day was Aliun al-Asghar. He goes behind the tents. He makes a grave for him. He buries that kid in that grave and he starts to pray, Allahumma inna la na'lamu minhu illa khayra. This kid, I don't know anything wrong about him. But Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, the mourning of Ali Asghar doesn't finish there. After Imam Hussein was killed, was murdered, the enemies attacked the tents. Each one of them wants a head of the enemy. They want to find one. When they grab all the heads of the Imam Hussein soldiers, one of them says, I saw Imam Hussein go behind the tents. Let's go behind them and find this kid. They start spearing the ground until suddenly they hear the takbir, Allahu Akbar, the head of a kid. Ya Allah, Ya Allah. This is the night of Ashura. We usually recite this other night. Tomorrow, we don't want the morning to come. Why? Because tomorrow, Ali al-Asghar would be like this. Imam Hussein would be murdered. So we recite this. We tell the morning, Ya Subh, don't come up. Or the sun, don't come up. Because we can't handle this. امشبی را شهدین در حرمش مهمان است. امشبی را شهدین در حرمش مهمان است. مکن ای صبح طلوع، مکن ای صبح طلوع. عصر فردا بدنش زیر سم اسبان است. عصر فردا بدنش زیر سم اسبان است. مکن ای صبح طلوع، مکن ای صبح طلوع. امشبی را شهدین در حرمش مهمان است. امشبی را شهدین در حرمش مهمان است. مکن ای صبح طلوع، عصر فردا بدنش زیر سم اسبان است. عصر فردا بدنش زیر سم. مکن ای صبح طلوع، مکن ای صبح طلوع. امشبی را شهدین در حرمش مهمان است. امشبی را شهدین در حرمش مهمان است.